Hello everybody and welcome to our first campaign video for Total War Warhammer 2. Today we're going to be taking a look at a few turns of campaign gameplay in the still somewhat early turns of a Dark Elves campaign led by Malekith the Witch King. So if we pull back and take a look at the overview map, we can get a sense of the scale of the new world we're inhabiting. We're currently at turn 72 and still have yet to reveal over half the map. Instead, we've been solidifying our home territories, making alliances and clearing out any pesky roaming hordes and rogue armies. If we toggle the overview filters, you can see our territories in yellow, our allies in blue, and our enemies in red. So seeing that our borders were relatively well secured with surrounding allies, I decided to send Malekith with a large invasion force south to Ulthuan to form a sort of territorial beachhead and slow down the High Elves who were ahead in the race for control of the Vortex. I chose to land here, at Val's Anvil. It's one of a few special locations on the map because it's a ritual resource site, meaning that it has the potential to produce ritual currency each turn. Ritual currency is what's needed to perform rituals, each one bringing you closer to control of the Great Vortex and ultimate victory. We're not alone in this race for control, however. At any time you can check the progress of the other races, and as I mentioned, right now the High Elves are winning, with us just slightly behind, while Skaven and Lizardmen are playing catch up. Now normally ritual currency is earned by completing missions, so finding sites that let you generate currency each turn is highly valuable and sought after by all the races. Stealing Val's Anvil from the High Elves both speeds us up and slows them down. However, the High Elves are still progressing, and just 5 turns ago they've begun their second ritual. Their capital of Lothern, as well as 2 currently hidden settlements, are channeling energy towards the Vortex as they complete their ritual over the course of 10 turns. During this time, we can disrupt them by taking out any of these settlements. We can also see that the Lizardmen have sent an intervention force against Lothern, but it doesn't look like it'll be enough to slow them down. The High Elves are defending their capital well, so we'll be looking to find a lesser defended settlement to capture and interrupt their ritual. So that'll be our objective for this Let's Play. Interrupt the ritual within 5 turns to delay the High Elves and let us take the lead in the race. If we take a look at Malekith, we can see that he's become quite battle-hardened over the last 70 or so turns, leveling up his traits and capturing himself a High Elf slave for his own personal use. For his skill tree, I've mainly focused on increasing his dark magic abilities and a few campaign effects that will allow him to capture more slaves in each battle. Legendary Lords can now be upgraded to level 40, and with over 100 different slots to fill, you can really invest in the chains you want and create your unique Malekith that suits your playstyle or his character. Malekith's army is recovering from the battle at Val's Anvil a few turns ago, but we're travelling with a Black Ark, a sort of roaming naval carrier that can build and recruit units, replenish forces and call in bombardment support. So let's grab a couple of units off of the Black Ark and head to the coast. Time is of the essence, so we'll need to enable full speed and get as far up the coast as we can. We'll move our Black Ark up to reinforce Malekith, switching to Dread expansion stance to make sure his army is replenishing. Back to our home province of Nagarond, we have some business to attend to. We've just received a message from Felicion asking us to attack the rogue army of the Mangy Hounds. Rogue armies can be comprised of a mishmash of troops from different races, and usually seek to raid until they have enough income to find a home of their own. They owe no allegiance to anyone, which means they have no friends to help them, so let's end them swiftly. We'll get our Dreadlord Velavith to declare war and attack. Looks like they're trying to run away, but they're essentially cornered on the coast. Seeing that their doom is inevitable, I'm going to grab our Knight Assassin and get her to join the army. She's only a level 2, but already has the Scavenge ability, allowing her to pick the battlefield clean after a fight and increase the amount of post-battle loot we get.
Cruelty and violence. For Nagaroth, for victory!
Alright, so an easy battle, we've got our little bit of loot, and it looks like we've ranked up too. Let's enslave the captives and sort them out later. Now we've completed our mission, earning us ritual currency and 2,000 gold, and the Mangy Hounds are no more. If we check out Velavith's skill tree, we can see that we can now decide her name of power. As she is primarily a defender of Nagarond and doesn't fight too often, we'll give her an aristocratic name, meaning she'll help the province she is in or the faction as a whole. Now we'll have to choose her name and effect. Faction-wide increase to income is excellent, so we'll spread out the vassals, becoming Velvet Barbslash. We could do with recruiting a few units for her as well, so we'll grab some bleak swords to bolster our home defense. Cyrus Barbstorm and her army is on the way to sack Blacklight Tower, belonging to the Forge Band, and it looks like there's an encounter at sea on the way, so let's explore it. We found some sunken booty. This will give us growth and extra income across all of our regions for a short while. Definitely a good omen for Cyrus's journey to come, no doubt.
Battle at last!
And on that note, it's time to end the turn. Now, new to the Total War franchise is the ability to decide what you want to see during the end turn phase. Currently we're watching a Tyrannok hero perform an action against an ally of mine, something that's not particularly of cause for concern for me, so we can choose to speed this up, ignore it, change the camera view and more, and we can do this for all factions or groups of factions, like all of our allies or all of our enemies. As we are at war with Tyrannok, we'll skip what its heroes are doing, but pay attention to its lords, just in case an army comes our way. Draklikoven. A one settlement Dark Elf faction is asking for peace. I think you know my answer.
Stand, sit, kneel, it matters not.
Looks like the Forge Band know what's coming their way, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. So, our Sacrifice of Cain rite is ready to be used again, and just in perfect time. Rites are a new feature in Total War Warhammer 2 which can be performed by each race. For the Dark Elves, we can sacrifice slaves in order to get effects in our campaign. This is how Black Arcs are recruited, for example, which we can't get another one for a little while yet, but we can perform a Sacrifice to Cain, which, considering we have a few battles coming up, will be a good idea as we'll capture more slaves from those battles. Great, now that the rite is activated, let's figure out how we're going to deal with the slaves we're about to capture. In the slave screen, we can see all of the provinces we currently have control over, their current slaves and how full they are. The more slaves we have, the more money we make, but too many slaves can cause negative public order and lead to rebellions. You can construct buildings in regions to increase the amount you can take, reduce their decline rates, and increase the money they make, so there's a nice balance to be struck with provinces with high public order you may want to gear towards slaves, versus provinces with low public order, perhaps due to climate, that you might not want to send slaves. So currently we don't have very many at all, and Nagorond is doing fantastic, with buildings ready to put the slaves to work, so let's set it to a high priority and stop the influx of slaves in our other provinces for now. With that done, let's march on Blacklight Tower. Looks like we've caught them off guard as the Forge Band's north is completely undefended, probably why they asked us for peace. We'll sack the town to take the most slaves we can and come back later after we deal with their armies. So now we've just gained 600 slaves and they've been sent straight to Nagorond. Now we're making money again. Moving back over to Velvet, it looks like there's another treasure hunt for us to complete, so let's check it out. Nice. It's always worth checking out those encounters at sea, because they often have great bonuses or gear that you can use later on in your campaigns and battles. Okay, back to the main task at hand. Let's head back down to Malekith. I'll take you along the path he originally took. Now it's covered with storms, treacherous whirlpools and roaming armies, so you can see that he had quite the journey getting here, and this isn't even halfway down the map. Now let's disembark his army and scout ahead to see what the High Elves have in store for us. Okay, it looks like they've actually got a very well defended settlement here, no doubt protecting it while they perform their ritual. We've got another turn before we can actually reach it, and we're still gaining replenishment from the Black Ark, so Malekith's army is healing. We might as well upgrade our buildings on the Ark so we can recruit even better units later down the line. Now, a small concern I have is that the Lizardmen will fail at Lothern, and they'll send their other army towards me from the rear, pinning me in this forest. So, to ensure that the High Elves are kept busy, we'll call upon an intervention force. Now, intervention forces can only be called upon when an enemy ritual is in progress. This is like a mercenary-style AI army that will do the best to hinder and prevent the enemy's ritual from completing. We can get 3 tiers of intervention, so we'll get the highest tier army. Excellent, so we can see the army is a full stack made up of a decent selection of troops and some costly high tier units too. Hopefully this will distract the High Elves long enough for us to take Cairnthal. So with that, let's end the turn. Looks like my intervention force has just destroyed Glittering Tower, probably because the Lizardmen are still sieging Lothern for themselves. And it looks like we're ready to perform our own ritual. We're finally catching up with the High Elves. So performing this ritual will take 10 turns, give us 5,000 gold, and it means we'll need to protect Nagoront, Har Kaldra and Kalira, our strongest settlements. So let's begin.
The ritual is underway, my lord. Even working together, it will take your greatest adept some time to complete. Such is the ritual's power that the great vortex itself distorts under its pull. Be wary, though, for while the vortex is weakened, the forces of chaos will slip into this world. Ready your defenses, for they will doubtless be drawn to the ritual's power.
Okay, so there's chaos armies spawning all over the place, so we'd better call our armies back and defend our own towns. Back to Ulthuan, let's push our Black Ark up to the coastline, ensuring that Malekith has our bombardment support, and finally attack Cairnthal, stopping the enemy ritual once and for all. I hate to leave it on a cliffhanger, but that'll be it for this campaign Let's Play. Be sure to join us tomorrow as we continue where we left off and fight the battle for Cairnthal. As well as that, don't forget to follow us on social media for all of the latest news, and remember to subscribe on YouTube for exclusive Total War videos.